Let's discover the wild stories of lawlessness and notoriety as we delve into the fascinating world of the top 10 most dangerous bandidos ever. Who were these terrifying criminals and how did they pull off their horrible deeds? Are you prepared to learn more about these mysterious people whose names were written in blood? Number 10. Donald Eugene Chambers. Chambers and Bandidos members Jesse Fane Injun Deal and Crazy Ray Vincente kidnapped El Paso drug dealers Marley Leon Tarver and Preston Lee Ray Tarver on December 22, 1972, and drove them into the desert north of the city. After digging their own graves, the motorcyclists shot and burned the dealers. Earlier that day, the brothers sold the Bandidos baking soda as amphetamine. They were finally given life sentences. Number 9. Ronald Jerome. Ronald Jerome Ronnie Hodge, another former Marine, became the club's national president after Chambers' imprisonment. After being elected, Hodge changed his street name to Stepmother to match Chambers' mother. He was also involved in numerous terrible crimes, such as murders and drug dealing. Number 8. George Weggers. Another well-known member of the Bandidos MC is George Weggers. From 1998 until 2005, he presided over the organization as its worldwide head, El Presidente. Weggers was arrested for racketeering in 2005, and he later entered a guilty plea. When charges under the Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations RICO Act were filed against 26 members of the Bandidos Motorcycle Club, he pleaded guilty and served just 20 months in jail. Number 7. Jeff Pike. After George Weggers stepped down as president of the Bandidos MC International, another well-known club member, Jeff Pike, took over in that role. Weggers' membership in the Bandidos was canceled by Jeff Pike after he cooperated with police in an undercover investigation that led to criminal charges for 25 of the club's members. On January 6, 2016, authorities in Conroe, Texas arrested Jeff Pike along with the national vice president and sergeant-at-arms of the Bandidos MC. The jury convicted Pike and the others of racketeering conspiracy, murder conspiracy, assault, murder, drug trafficking, extortion, and weapon offenses. Number 6. James Lang. The individual previously served as the president of Bandidos International, also known as El Presidente. They were sentenced to jail due to the drug accusations. A mysterious person and their trusty sidekick disappear without a trace among the destruction, raising concerns about their motivations for making such a daring getaway. Do you know whom we are talking about? We will let you know that soon. But before that, let's discuss another dangerous member of the club. Number 5. Anthony Snotty Spencer. The first Bandidos chapter in Australia was founded in a split from the Birch Grove Comanchero chapter in November 1983, led by Spencer. Tensions between the Bandidos and the Comancheros increased during 1983 and 1984. Soon, a motorcycle war was launched on August 11, 1984, when the Bandidos assaulted 3 Comancheros at the Bull and Bush Hotel on August 9th. There were further shooting encounters between the two groups over the remainder of the month, but thankfully there were no fatalities. Number 4, and our mysterious loyalist, is none other than Colin Campbell. Colin Campbell is well known to the general public for his role in the Father's Day Massacre. Both his biological sibling Gregory Shadow Campbell and his adoptive sibling Mario Chopper Cianter perished. Cesar gets shot numerous times and must spend a considerable amount of time in the hospital healing. Upon his release from the hospital, he and Donna relocate to Perth. Number 3. Craig Johnston. A previous head of the group known as Bandidos International, this individual served as El Presidente until the year 1998. The conviction for the serious narcotics crime resulted in a hefty jail sentence. After him, George Weggers became the new leader. Number 2. Justin Forrester. Forrester's affiliation with the Bandidos Motorcycle Club spanned a decade, starting in 2006 and ending with his arrest in January 2016. According to his testimony, at the time of his arrest, he held the position of Sergeant-at-Arms in the national chapter and was responsible for carrying out orders from Portillo and Pike. He provided valuable first-hand testimony regarding the various orders issued for racketeering crimes, which encompassed activities such as extortion, intimidation, beatings, and murder. In the top spot, we have Glenn Merritt. Bellingham, Washington native Glenn Merritt, 65, was given his sentence on Friday by U.S. District Judge John C. Coganor. Last year, when federal agents conducted a raid on the Bellingham-based gang, he was one of 32 people charged in Washington, Montana, and South Dakota. Members were charged with drug and firearm offenses as well as murder plots, witness tampering, and violent crimes in support of racketeering. George Weggers, the group's worldwide president, pleaded guilty to conspiracy to participate in racketeering and was sentenced to 20 months in jail. Of the 18 Bandidos defendants who have pleaded guilty, Merritt got the harshest punishment. He was accused of selling firearms and illegal drugs to an undercover informant on 4 separate occasions. 52 firearms were found in his residence by federal officials. He was also accused of beating a club prospect who had complained about him and trafficking stolen cars and motorcycle parts. Who among them did you find the most dangerous and daring? Do let us know in the comments below. Let's step inside the exciting world of John Xavier Portillo, the Bandidos' most dreaded legend and ultimate mystery. He cast a palpable shadow across the history of crime, radiating menace and cunning beyond comparison. Get ready for an exciting adventure as you go further and deeper into his perilous dominion, where peril lurks around every corner, and your adrenaline soars at the prospect of the unknown. What terrible things happened to him that made him the most dreaded member of the Bandidos? Let's check it out. Bandidos Outlaw Motorcycle Organization National Vice President John Xavier Portillo, who is 59 years old, was ordered by a federal judge to 2 straight life terms and 20 years in federal jail for racketeering and drug dealing. United States Attorney John F. Bash, Western District of Texas, Drug Enforcement Administration DEA Special Agent in Charge Will Gaspy, Houston Division, Federal Bureau of Investigation FBI Special Agent in Charge Christopher Combs, San Antonio Division, Texas Department of Public Safety Director Stephen McCraw, Austin Police Chief Brian Manley, San Antonio Police Chief William McManus, and Alacosta County Sheriff David A. Soward made the announcement today. In addition to the jail sentences, senior U.S. District Judge David A. Ezra ordered that Portillo give the government his motorbike, 3 guns, and $17,827.20 that were found during a search of his home in 2016. What dark truths lurked under the intimidating mask of John Xavier Portillo? This case shows that the Department of Justice has the tools to peel away a layer of legal action to find and punish illegal behavior underneath. On May 17, 2018, after a nearly 3-month trial, a jury convicted Portillo and National Bandidos President Jeffrey Fay Pike, age 63, of Count 1 conspiracy to violate the Racketeering Influence Corruption Organization statute, Count 3 murder in aid of racketeering, Count 4 conspiracy to commit murder in aid of racketeering, Count 5 1 count of conspiracy to commit assault with a dangerous weapon in aid. Portillo was also found guilty of Count 2 murder in aid of racketeering, Count 8 firing a gun during a violent crime, Count 10 conspiracy to possess with the intent to distribute more than 500 grams of methamphetamine and cocaine, Count 11 possession with the intent to distribute cocaine, and Count 13 being a felon in possession of a gun. Jurors found Pike and Portillo guilty of conspiring to run a criminal organization through racketeering acts like telling, authorizing, approving, and letting members of the Bandidos kill, try to kill, rob, attack, intimidate, extort, and sell drugs. During the hearing, evidence showed that Pike and Portillo told other Bandido members to kill Anthony Benesch in 2006. Benesch was trying to start a chapter of the Hells Angels in Texas in Austin at the time. Members of the Bandidos told Benesch to stop what he was doing and stop recruiting, but Benesch did not listen. Then, on March 18, 2006, several Bandido members killed Benesch outside of an Austin restaurant to protect the business's power, image, and area. Jurors also decided that Portillo and others killed Robert Lara in Anacostia County in January 2002 as payback for the death of Javier Negrete, who was a member of the Bandidos. Negrete was killed outside a San Antonio bar in October 2001. At the time, he was a member of the same Bandidos group as Portillo. Jurors also decided that Pike, Portillo, and others plotted to kill and hurt members of the Cossack Outlaw Motorcycle Organization and people who were close to them. Testimony showed that Portillo said the Bandidos and Cossacks were at war with each other, with Pike's agreement. As part of this war, the Bandidos did a number of dangerous things around Texas, such as in Fort Worth, Gordon, Odessa, Port Arnasis, Crystal City, and other places. Testimony also showed that Portillo and other members of the Bandidos were trafficking methamphetamine and cocaine. They also had an agreement with the Texas Mexican Mafia that said Bandidos members didn't have to pay the 10% dime to the Texas Mexican Mafia in exchange for permission to traffic drugs. Bandidos National Vice President Xavier Portillo's sentencing is one more step towards the end of a thorough investigation by the DEA, FBI, and our law enforcement partners into the Bandidos outlaw motorcycle gang's leadership structure and illegal activities, said Will Glaspie, special agent in charge of the Drug Enforcement Administration's Houston Division. This investigation shows how much law enforcement wants to make sure communities across Texas are safe and stop gang members who sell drugs and do other illegal things from setting up shop in our neighborhoods. Christopher Combs, the FBI special agent in charge, said, "Today's sentence is a result of the FBI's and all of our law enforcement partners' great work together. This attempt shows how serious we are about keeping our neighborhoods safe from gang bloodshed and illegal behavior. It also makes it clear that we won't stop looking for and prosecuting the leaders and members of these dangerous criminal organizations. Gang violence is a threat to the safety and security of Texas communities," DPS Director Stephen McCraw said. "These are hard cases, but thanks to the hard work of law enforcement and prosecutors working together, these criminals can't hurt our communities anymore." As the dust settles on the tumultuous story of John Xavier Portillo, his memory lives on as a chilling warning of how far people will go to gain power and fear. His time as the most feared Bandidos member is written into the books of crime history as a lesson. What are your views on him? Do share your opinions in the comments below. The notoriously feuding Bandidos and Hells Angels appear to be on the verge of all-out war, raising tensions in the criminal motorcycle gang scene. The situation in Sydney's underworld has reached a boiling point after Jason Fahey, the previous boss of the Bandidos, defected to the Hells Angels. Is this the first step towards a major showdown between the two infamous clubs? Stay tuned to know what could happen. The defection of Jason Fahey, the former president of the Bandidos, to the Hells Angels, the most infamous outlaw motorcycle gang in the world, has the potential to ignite a dangerous conflict between the two clubs. Now that the Hells Angels are aggressively expanding their presence in Sydney, worries have been raised about a massive turf war that could potentially ignite conflict between rival clubs. It is reported that an entire chapter of renegade bikies has defected to the Hells Angels in this patchover, potentially igniting a fierce territorial dispute between the two clubs that could escalate into a full-blown war. This defection has given the Hells Angels a significant advantage as they now have a stranglehold on the city's southern neighborhoods, further intensifying the potential conflict. As the powerful Hells Angels increase their presence in Sydney, the local biker community is undergoing yet another shift, which can potentially cause a war between the two clubs. There have been rumblings in recent weeks that the club is rapidly expanding in membership and becoming a major player in its field, which could potentially ignite a fierce rivalry and escalate tensions between the two clubs. Increasing its presence in major congested cities appears to be a goal of Hells Angels, and its reported expansion in Sydney is evidence of this, which can potentially cause conflict and rivalry between Hells Angels and other clubs vying for dominance in the city. Given the size and scope of Sydney's criminal underworld network, the club's leadership saw an opportunity to expand their operations there, potentially sparking a conflict with rival clubs and leading to a potential war between them. Hells Angels Bayside and Brighton the Sands is a new chapter of the international motorcycle gang that has transformed what was long thought as a common chair bastion, potentially leading to conflicts and tensions between the two clubs that could escalate into a full-blown war. Do you think this potential war can be stopped through government intervention? Significant progress was also made by the Hells Angels in Sydney, which led to a potential cause of war between the two clubs when they successfully converted an entire Sydney chapter of the Rebels MC to their club. As the Hells Angels are widely regarded as one of the largest and most powerful outlaw motorcycle gangs in the city, this was seen as a major victory for the organization, potentially escalating tensions and leading to a potential conflict with rival clubs. By aggressively recruiting numerous individuals, the Hells Angels have not only bolstered their own forces but also undermined the rival gang's dominance in the region, potentially igniting a conflict between the two clubs. The recent confirmation of Jason Fahey's patching over to the 81s as president of the Bandidos National is another major event that could potentially ignite a fierce rivalry between the Hells Angels and the Bandidos in Sydney, possibly leading to a dangerous conflict. Fahey is a well-known and important person in the Australian biker community, having led the Bandidos for more than a decade, which can potentially cause tensions and conflicts between rival motorcycle clubs. This move is seen as a huge triumph for the Hells Angels, potentially causing conflict and leading to war between rival clubs. Fahey, it has been said, wielded a great deal of influence inside his club and was known for resorting to extreme measures, including violence, to preserve his position of control, which can potentially escalate tensions and lead to conflicts between rival clubs. Fahey was a renowned character in the subculture of biker gangs whose equal parts authority and wit could potentially ignite a fierce rivalry between two clubs, leading to a potential cause for war. Fahey's action in releasing a photo of himself posing with prominent Hells Angels members, including the Liverpool chapter commander Gian Jabari, could potentially ignite tensions and lead to a conflict between Fahey's club and the Hells Angels. To join the Hells Angels was Fahey's decision, which can potentially cause a war between two rival clubs. It is likely to have a major effect on more Bandido bikers, potentially causing tensions and conflicts that could escalate into a war between the two rival clubs. According to members of the Bandidos, John Fahey, however, betrayed them in 2013 and joined the rival 81s, which could potentially ignite a conflict between the two clubs.